Councilmember Leyva.
Here.
Councilmember Greer.
Here.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Here.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Present.
Mayor Palguda.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, for our invocation and our pledge, I would like to welcome down Pastor David Knight, Bethel Baptist Church. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you have made us in your image. You have called us to love our neighbor as ourselves. You've placed in us a conscience that can know what is right and what is wrong, a voice that can tell us what we ought and ought not to do. You've told us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and at the same time, you have told us that we've fallen short of your glory. Thank you for the gift of your Son, the demonstration of your love for us, even when we were sinners. Thank you for the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Bless this meeting tonight. Let your Spirit guide and direct in each issue that is discussed. Let your presence be a part of each decision that needs to be made. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And now the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to welcome down Sergeant Tom Grant and Lieutenant Michael Corcoran for Staff Service Award, 20 years.
Thank you, Mayor, Town Council, and Town Exec staff. We're here today to recognize Master Sergeant Thomas Grant for 20 years of service with the Prescott Valley Police Department. If I may, I would like to read a short bio for Master Sergeant Grant. Thomas Grant was born and raised in New Jersey. After graduating high school, he joined the Marines, the United States Marine Corps, in 1993, where he earned the rank of sergeant. Thomas served as infantryman, boat coxswain, and elite Marine security guard. Thomas was honorably discharged from the United States Marine Corps and pursued and earned an associate's degree in criminal justice. Thomas has been married to his wife for 23 and a half years, and they have 2 beautiful daughters. In 2002, Thomas began his career in law enforcement with the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. In January 2003, he joined the Prescott Valley Police Department, where he has been assigned to Field Services Division, Field Training Unit, Honor Guard Unit, SWAT Team Sergeant, Criminal Investigations Section Sergeant, and HSI Task Force Officer. Thomas has earned several awards that show his level of professionalism and dedication. In 2003, he earned the Rookie of the Year Award. In 2005, Officer of the Year Award. The Police Star in 2007. He was awarded the Medal of Valor in 2007. Officer of the Quarter for 2008. Certificate of Appreciation, SWAT Team Member in 2008. Community Policing Award in 2011. Police Chief's Distinguished Service Citation in 2013, 2016, and 2018. He was Supervisor of the Year in 2018. Unit of the Year, Criminal Investigations Division in 2019, and FBI Leadership Trilogy Award in 2022. The Police Department would like to thank Tom for his dedication to our department for these 20 years of service. Thank you, Tom, for such a distinguished career, and our agency is grateful and honored for your service.
We'll just get a few words from the council. Councilwoman, lead us off.
Thomas, thank you so much for your dedication and for your service. 20 years, I'm so impressed with your credentials. Thank you.
My goodness, your ribbons are very impressive, and we're so honored to have someone of your caliber on our police force. We have such an awesome police force here in Prescott Valley, and you add to it in many, many ways. And the Medal of Valor, Distinguished Citations, Leadership Awards, thank you so very, very much for all that you have done for our community.
And I'm sure when you first came on, you had no idea what you were getting into. And then also, thank you for your leadership, that you've come through the ranks, that you do keep trying to attain higher and higher as you go, and that you are such a role model for all the new and upcoming officers as well. So we just want to say thank you so much, and it's so good to be proud of something that you've accomplished like that. So thank you very much.
Master Sergeant, thank you for your dedication to the Prescott Valley Police Department. I think the most important thing that I'm grateful is that you save lives. So thank you for that. Keep up the good work and stay safe.
Tom, you are probably the first person that I think of when I think back to who were the first people that I met at the PD. Like I think the building would fall down if you weren't there anymore to hold it up, because you just, or maybe it'll stand up easier. I don't know. But I just thank you for your service and for you and your family. You're beautiful. We were just talking about how fantastic your family is and how sweet Margarita is, and that we just love her, and just thank you for being part of the community.
Well, hi, Tom. Congratulations. You're such a cool person, and so is Margarita. And as professional as you can be, I know you go above and beyond what your job description is when it comes to doing your job. And I've seen you in action in many times. And as a person, you are like super cool. So congratulations.
Tom, I've known you over 20 years, and I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm proud to say that I worked with you. There's a bunch of gentlemen that also work with you in the back, and that says a lot about who this person is and the amount of work and the amount of time he puts in to his job. Tom, long time ago, says a lot about a person, about what type of nickname they get when they're at the police department. And early on, Tom, in your career, it was Leche. And it was because he put a lot of time and effort into each of his calls. He wanted to be very thorough, so that's very good. And I just want to say, congratulations, Tom. But I also hear there's another nickname that is out there that you've kind of progressed into, and I don't know if you want to share with that, or if you want to talk about a little bit of that, or we're just going to keep that a secret. So it's yours.
First off, I wanted to say thank you to the town council, mayor, and the chief of police, and our leadership here at the town. We're successful here at the PD, and because of all of what you guys do for us, and for everybody that's sitting in the back, especially my family. You can't do this job without your family, so thank you. Yeah, the nickname that I have now is Pooh Bear, so I don't know how I got that, but that's the nickname now. Thank you, everybody.
That's cute.
Thanks, everyone. Next up will be Student of the Month.
Just going to let the rowdy crowd leave so the respectable high school students can have their moment as well. The town of Prescott Valley, in collaboration with the Optimist Club of Yavapai County and Bradshaw Mountain High School, are honoring these outstanding students for the month of January. Please welcome Alana Sutton and Marshall Frank. We are recognizing these students because of their school and community engagement. They have been nominated by school staff and instructors at Bradshaw Mountain High School. And now let's go ahead and hear from Alana.
Hello, I'm Alana Sutton, and I am a senior at Bradshaw Mountain High School. I am honored that I was chosen for Student of the Month. Mr. Dahl told me I have to brag about myself, so I guess that's just what I'm gonna do. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I play the piano in the jazz band, and I'm the drum major of the marching band. I was the lead drum major this year, and it came with many duties and responsibilities. Being a drum major has taught me how to work with others, be confident, and mainly how to be a leader. I now know that I am capable of whatever I put my mind to, even if there are challenges along the way. Being a drum major has required me to put the band before other important things going on in my life, and it is a massive commitment with both my time and energy. I have to be a role model, make sure everybody feels valued, and unite everyone in the band. A lot of time, commitment, and stress goes into it, but it is so rewarding to lead my peers and guide them to do their best. Along with my extracurriculars, I am part of AP Academy, have a 4.52 GPA, and am in the top 2% of my class. I am also one of the officers of the National Honor Society. I volunteer about 50 hours for my community every semester. It is not easy being involved with marching band, excel in my classes, have a job, and still have a social life, but I have managed to pull it all off. I have worked so hard since my freshman year, and I'm glad that my work is finally paying off. I will be attending Grand Canyon University in the fall and hope to major in nursing. I got accepted into the Honors College and am so excited to start this new chapter of my life. I am very proud to be part of Bradshaw's community and am thankful for the opportunities the school has given me. Thank you for your time.
Good job.
And Mr. Marshall Frank.
Face ID doesn't work with these glasses on. Is there anyone named Michael in the audience? Please stand up.
Behind you.
Oh, one right behind you, sir.
Thank you. That concludes this mic check. My name is Marshall Frank, and I'm here today because I was chosen as one of Bradshaw's Students of the Month for the month of December at Bradshaw Mountain High School last month. In school, my academic prowess has been overshadowed only by my social charm. I currently have a 4.6 weighted GPA and approximately 4.8 weighted friends. Pause for laughter. I've earned principal's list every semester, as well as a composite score of 35 on the ACT and a sub-score of 36. So, yeah. I'm also participating in a couple of extracurriculars, including FBLA, NHS, MUN, and a few other acronyms which you're not familiar with. On top of that, I'm the president and founder of the BMHS chapter of Science Olympiad, although my official title is the Marshall. While the past is in the past, and in the present I'm giving this speech, my future is still very much in the future, and therefore has yet to come to be the present, and then the past after that, and so forth. As for the less immediate present, I've been accepted to several in-state and out-of-state colleges, and I'm currently awaiting rejection letters from MIT, Stanford, etc. As for my major and/or career, let's just say I'm keeping my options open. Since the future is not yet here, as I already stated, I tend to focus instead on the past, because that, of course, has already passed. As a Jewish man born the day after Christmas, life has never been easy for me. However, I believe Kanye West put it best when he said, "Now that don't kill me can only make me stronger." I strive each day to manifest these wise words by overcoming my many challenges, whether I'm working for my parents at the Prescott Valley Pet Clinic or raising funds to start America's first Jewish salsa company. I always put my best foot forward. It's the left foot. It has the most shoe change. $3.24 to be exact. Before my speech comes to an end, it's my duty as a citizen of these United States to impart my personal wisdom upon all of you. Thus, I'm prepared to divulge my secret to success. There's one question I always ask myself every day, a question that gets me thinking about how I can be better, how I can elevate myself, how I can continue to learn and grow as both a man and a human. That question is as follows: can I get much higher? I will continue to ask myself that one question until the answer is no, because once I elevate myself to the max, I'll reach the pinnacle, which means I'll be so high that I can't possibly get any higher. I believe that one question should drive every person, no matter their past, present, or future, to become the very best version of themselves. Thus, I implore every single member of this audience, yes, even the person watching this recording, you too must ask yourself that one question in every single moment of every single day of the rest of your life until the answer truly is no. So I ask you one last time to reflect internally, to view yourself objectively, and to pull the answer from the deepest depths of your heart and soul. Can you get much higher? Of course, the answer should be yes. You can always get higher because nobody is perfect. At least nobody in Prescott Valley is perfect. I believe Kanye West put it best when he said, "No one man should have all that power." But even if we aren't perfect, striving to reach an unattainable goal is what gives our otherwise trivial lives some semblance of meaning. I believe Kanye West might have said that in one of his other songs, but I can't exactly remember the quote right now. Thank you all, and get home safe.
And Principal Brett Dahl.
I don't know how you follow that. Right?
Yeah, seriously.
No one ever quotes Kanye. You know?
I'm lucky, and Councilwoman Hepperly and Mayor Palguda, as you so eloquently said before the meeting started, in spite of me, we produce student after student after student that takes on these qualities. What I'm so impressed, the intelligent level and the academics of our kids is so far beyond what I remember in high school, but they also still obviously have lots of personality. They are leaders on our campus. They take younger students under their wing and they guide them. And I am just so proud to be a part of Bradshaw Mountain High School. Officer Hayes, I'm so glad you didn't leave. Officer Hayes was given, he was really mad. Bradshaw Mountain continues to beat his Badgers up and everything, and so I just thought I would say kudos to you for sticking around for this celebration, my friend. Thank you, Mayor Palguda, Councilwoman Hepperly. Thank you for continuing to allow us to celebrate our kids. They're absolutely amazing. It is so important that our community understands what's going on across the street, and we are so lucky to have such great leadership in our town that recognizes the importance of celebrating that. So thank you very much.
And from the Optimist Club, Mike Whiting.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here and recognize Students of the Month. I think I agree with all that's been said, that it's hard to believe that we find these students right here in Prescott Valley. And as you hear, as far as their background, they work very hard. And I too, when I was in high school, I don't think I put in half the work you guys do. And it shows, you know, and part of the Optimist Creed is something obviously you live by. And one thing I think that applies here that I always say is to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. And obviously you do that. And I think a lot of that comes from the home as well, not only the school. And I know that some parents are here. I think as far as Alana's parents, would you like to introduce them real quick and say hi? You can just, come on, Alana.
Me too. My mom, Dacry, my dad, Ryan, and my friend, Alyssa.
Because it is important. Yes, give them a round. Because they may achieve a lot of things in spite of us, but it's because of their parents, so we thank you very much. So get a little serious here. You know, we're here tonight Alana and Marshall, to recognize you for, your achievements and accomplishments in academics at school, as well as personal involvement in school and in the community. We appreciate that. And you've demonstrated that, your responsibility necessary to maintain progress, or you wouldn't be here tonight. And, where you stand, your ranking in your class is just unbelievable. But it's because of your personal goals and your willingness to strive for success, and we appreciate that. So that really, I think, demonstrates what we as the Optimist Club of Yavapai County live by, and hopefully you can live by that as well. We're going to give you a few mementos of the occasion tonight, a certificate and then a little plaque that has the Optimist Creed on it. So if you have a chance, take a look at that creed, and if you can live by that and then what you've been living by with the support of your parents, you'll do great. So congratulations, and let's give you your certificates and plaques here. I'll just read this real quick. The Optimist Club of Yavapai County certifies Robert Marshall, December student of the month. And again, it's something that we do in conjunction with the Prescott Valley Congressional.
We get a picture.
Kids are so good at that.
Thank you. Great job. Very much. Great job, guys. Next up, item 4, call to the public. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters listed on the agenda or solely on matters within the jurisdiction of the town. Any persons wishing to address the council must register their name with the town clerk prior to the commencement of the meeting. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. Clerk?
Let's call on Isabel Saracides.
I'm guessing you're not going to be quoting Kanye tonight.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and welcome to the new council members. I'd like to speak tonight about transparency, integrity, and accountability. In October of 2021, Council adopted a strategic plan commitment, and on it, it said, our values are service, integrity, and respect. It said, we are mindful and caring for the well-being of individuals and our community. We're responsible, honest, and transparent. We do the right thing. We treat others with dignity. I don't think that's happening, and I'll tell you why. Social media pages of elected representatives are public forums if information about government services and meetings is being shared and discussed. For example, the Prescott Valley Mayor page on Nextdoor and Facebook is supposed to be public, but it is not. There is a gatekeeper. It's a pick and choose scenario of who gets to contribute in our government and who does not. Members of the public have to request to join, and not everyone is allowed access. Some citizens have been removed because of alternate views they express. This violates the First Amendment. Blocking individuals from accessing these pages is unconstitutional restriction of our rights to free speech. This appears to have emboldened past use of social media to incite divisiveness and hate, as seen with inflammatory name-calling such as psycho, Debbie Downer, narrow-minded, keyboard warrior, and post disparaging citizens for exercising their right to public records. This is troubling and unacceptable, and I have documentation if you like it. This behavior is oppressive and it restricts citizens from participating in our government. You've got to do better for everyone. Council must foster inclusiveness. Open government is not a one-way street. Now, you may be asking yourself why I am bringing this up to you. You are our elected representatives, and if you sit idly by and do nothing, it implies that you condone it. It only takes 3 of you to show courage to ask the town manager, either now or later, and request that this item be put on a future agenda for discussion, or ask for the adoption of a code of conduct for elected officials. Elected officials, and there's 2 of you up there that just took your oath, and you solemnly affirmed that you will support the Constitution of the United States and impartially discharge the duties of your office. And I stress impartially. So please show us now that you care and that you meant what you said, and consider this serious community matter, because it's been going on for years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Clerk?
Steve Caros.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening. I would like to thank and commend Prescott Valley Communications Assistant LaToya Muse for the excellent job she did on posting the summary and links to the recent Council Water Workshop meeting. LaToya posted this on the Nextdoor Neighbor Public Awareness Agency's social media site, designated for cities and towns to communicate with their residents in an official capacity. Because it is official, it comes with certain rules and guidelines and is considered public record. If these rules are violated, Nextdoor has the authority to close the discussion, but leaving the post intact as public records. This is what occurred to these important public information posts recently. The discussion was closed for the violation of as many as 6 guidelines by our mayor. Mayor Palguda referred to me by name in LaToya's post, of which I had absolutely no participation or involvement in. Among other things, he said the following: if you really want to know, the truth is no one has ever seen any threatening letters written to Steve Caros. Not the police department, not the Yavapai County Attorney's Office, not the Prescott Courier, and no one from Town Hall. Actually, folks, the truth is that I filed a crime report number 22-278 on January 14, 2022, a year ago, with Officer Rocky Hernandez, badge number 121, outlining anonymous phone calls threatening me with physical harm. Furthermore, I filed an official complaint with the Arizona Bar Association regarding the letters. Mayor Palguda's comments caused me to be defamed, and the citizens of Prescott Valley to be deprived of their right and ability to communicate on the very important water meeting because of his misuse and abuse of the town's official public agency Nextdoor site. If this council hopes to succeed in the effort to collaborate on our water issues with state agencies, neighboring governments, partners, other resources, and the citizens you serve, then you must ensure that the mayor treats all with dignity and respect. Mayor Palguda, you owe me, LaToya, and the citizens of Prescott Valley a public apology. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Clerk?
Dr. Carl Matze.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Carl Matze, and I live at 10360 East Old Black Canyon Highway. I'm here to speak about the excessive speed on a residential street. The posted speed limit is 25, and I and my neighbors routinely see speeds that exceed that. This is not a knock on our Prescott Valley Police Department. They must prioritize their resources, and every interaction that I've had with the mayor, the town manager, and the police chief have been nothing but professional. Most of us are grandparents that live in that area. We have grandchildren visit, and a person can probably stop when a ball or remote control car ends up in the street going 25. Those that are speeding cannot stop. I come with to present concerns tonight, but we also as a neighborhood have solutions. We ask for the following items to be done within a reasonable amount of time. Number one, create a four-way stop at the intersection of Old Black Canyon and Fiesta Lane, or Old Black Canyon and Sunset Point. Number two, install 3 speed tables on the north and south side of the street. The mayor said this has been done in other locations. Number 3, paint 25 miles per hour on the street in several locations and install solar-powered speed indicators on 10-foot poles similar to those on Rosser Street in Prescott. Change the name from Old Black Canyon Highway to Old Black Canyon Street. Maybe people are somewhat concerned that, in fact, when they see highway, that they think maybe the speed limit is the same as Highway 69. Schedule enforcement from unmarked cars, maybe 15 to 30 minutes per week. We understand that's a resource, and the police chief and I have already spoken about that, and I know that he has assigned some time for us in our neighborhood. We found out a couple weeks ago from the mayor that this situation is only going to get worse. The reason it's going to get worse is because they're paving, I think the mayor told me, in the spring, the dirt part of Old Black Canyon Highway down to, I can't remember the name of the neighborhood that's to the west. Yeah, thank you. Now, instead of being a 3/4 mile speedway, we're going to have a 2.5 mile speedway coming into our neighborhood. The pavement on that old dirt road is only going to make the speeds in our particular neighborhood worse, not better.
So you're going to have to wrap it up, sir. But we're more than welcome, though, sir, just so you know, I know it's only 3 minutes and you feel like you might not have enough.
I'm finished. I want to thank the council for being on the town's council. I'm sure it has its challenges and satisfying moments. So thank you all.
And just so you know, sir, our doors are always open to come and make a schedule an appointment to meet with us, or the town manager or the chief, to go over even more details as things go further down the line. So.
Well, I think that maybe the steps from here, if in fact the suggestions that I and my neighbors are making to slow down the traffic on our street, I would think that maybe the town manager would be in contact with me, or the police chief, or maybe even you, Mayor.
Sure.
So thank you.
Thanks for coming out. Clerk?
No one else.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, council communications. I'm going to start down on the end. Councilwoman?
Yes, I went to the Coffee with Cops yesterday. I think that's a really wonderful thing to do. I think it's wonderful to have the police out there in the view of the public and be able to talk to the public. I met some really wonderful guys and plan to do it many more times. Thank you.
Councilwoman?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. This last week, I attended a meeting for Dignity Health / Yavapai Regional Medical Center, the Council of Electors, and I was elected the new vice president of the Council of Electors. And the maximum time that you can serve is 5 years. I don't expect I'll be on there that entire time. But for those of you who do not know, the purpose of the Council of Electors is, is to produce experienced, qualified hospital board members selected by the broadest possible electorate. And the board members will plan. They do the planning, they do the finance, community needs, medical staff, nursing and/or information systems that are needed for our Yavapai Regional Medical Center to operate. And just as a side note, the new president is Bill Steitler, who is also the superintendent of Mountain Institute. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Ma'am. Vice Mayor?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to congratulate some of our new team members. Mike Theodora, Jake Handley, and Dakota Collins are all maintenance workers, and these aren't new employees. They're to fill existing positions, so that's good for our streets department. And also Beverly Shao, who's a deputy court clerk, and Martha Zimmerman, who is our administrative assistant in the town manager's office. So welcome aboard. Yesterday we had an illegal fentanyl working group meeting in this room, and we meet every other month on the second Wednesday at 4 p.m. in this room, and it's open to the public. So our next meeting will be in March. And we had a presentation from the DEA, and it was kind of some bummer information statewide because the cartels are still making pills and sending them over the border. Currently, the wholesale price for fentanyl is between 35 and 60 cents a pill. And the street retail value is about $3 a pill. And to bring that in perspective, we started this working group a little over 2 years ago, and at the time it was about $15 a pill, and now it's $3. And that was back in 2020. So that isn't good news. And we were also found out that now 6 in 10 pills have the lethal dose of fentanyl in them. Whereas when we started this a couple years ago, it was about 4 in 10 pills had the lethal dose. So 2 milligrams is deadly, and 6 in every 10 pills that the DEA tests has a deadly dose. And so those are on our streets. The good news is, at least in Yavapai County, according to our overdose report, our numbers are getting better with regard to deaths and life savings. So we need to keep up the education. If you have any questions, please go to mapforce.org or contact me or attend one of our illegal fentanyl working group meetings. Thank you.
Councilwoman.
January 25th is the next executive board meeting for the Upper Verde River Watershed Protection Coalition. That's going to be out here in the Civic Center, room 331, and then also on Zoom. And the agenda should be posted, I think, by the 19th, and then it has the Zoom address on there. It'll be a really informative meeting. We're going to be hearing from some of our partners at the Prescott National Forest, Arizona Association of Conservation Districts, Biocarbon Technologies, plus a PowerPoint of the history of the actions taken by the coalition in the last 15 years. So it's a really good catch-up session, as well as looking to the future. So if you have any questions on that, you can just contact me and I'll get you the details. Thank you.
Councilwoman, anything?
I was actually here also for the presentation yesterday on the fentanyl, and the presentation was very informative, and I encourage everyone to get to one of the presentations because it's actually eye-opening information. So,
thank you, ma'am. Next up, manager's report, Mr. Davidson.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council will be submitting to you and to the public our monthly report early next week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 7, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, we've all had a chance to review our packets. If this is the time we would like to remove an item, please let me know.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove 7J off the agenda, please, for more information.
So with that being said, I'll just take a motion for all items on consent agenda except item 7J at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written with the minus 7J.
And I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson,
Yes.
Councilmember Leyva.
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief, do you mind just addressing 7J quickly or briefly, I should say, just for clarification?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, members of the council, Vice Mayor. Appreciate being here tonight. And Mr. Mayor, with your permission, may I just speak briefly about the previous comments about traffic safety on Old Black Canyon Highway?
Yes, absolutely. I believe council
That'd be great.
would like to hear that.
I think this is a perfect opportunity to explain to our public that when you have a concern about traffic safety in your neighborhood or on a particular street, please call the police department and we will respond there. We will be there and we will take a look at it. In this particular case, we did receive information from the good doctor that he had complaints about speeding. We deployed our traffic officers out there to take some enforcement action to see what's going on. We've also recently conducted some traffic surveys in there, finding that the average speed in that area is 28 miles per hour. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not that periodic speeder that will come by, and we will deploy those resources out there to address those. So, again, a good reminder that we listen, and we want that community feedback because we can't be everywhere at all times. So please let us know, and that's a message to the public, and we'll put the officers there.
Awesome, sir. Thank you for addressing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. In reference to the item that you pulled, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about this. It does need some public clarification on this. The opioid settlement dollars that are coming into the county will be coming in annually over a 20-year period, and those dollars will come into the public health department in the county. And then the public health director will have the authority to disperse those dollars throughout the municipalities and the government entities in our county. As we all know, the Prescott Partners Against Narcotic Task Force, PANT, used to be called Prescott Area Narcotics Task Force, is a multi-agency narcotics task force that works illegal drug activity in our county. We do have a detective that's assigned there. Our board has met, and we have been observing over the last couple of years that our funding levels to support those operations have been going substantially down, primarily because of the change in asset forfeiture laws in the state. That's causing less dollars in our RICO funding. So we gathered together as a team and we looked at an opportunity to find funding sources, and one is this opioid settlement dollars, that if each of the 9 government bodies can participate a certain amount of dollars, up to $250,000 per year, starting off. Those numbers, I should say, with the next 20 years are going to fluctuate from year to year. But the county has received the first 2 years of the settlement dollars, and the public health director has articulated, based on some funding models, that if we could put in $38,000 this year out of the first year's funding, $38,082 to go to PANT, that could help offset some of the budget woes that we're having over there. The good news is those first 2 years, we're getting a little over $98,000 into our community here, into the town. So we're asking for $38,000 to go to support our partners over there. The other $60,000, if that's the direction, the town manager and I can sit down and we can look at where we can put those dollars to good use in our community. We heard some enforcement, prevention, outreach, heard MAPForce. There's a lot of opportunities that we can do in this town reference opioids, and specifically fentanyl, because that's the drug that's really causing the havoc in our communities and our nation. So I hope that clarifies some of the questions that may have been out there, and I'm open to any questions.
We have questions or comments for Chief? Vice Mayor? All right, with that being said, thank you for clarifying that. Just the different numbers on the staff report was...
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that.
Susan, appreciate that. Now can I get a motion for 7J?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 7J, use of opioid settlement funds by electronic vote.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Vice Mayor Hunt,
Yes.
Mayor Polgura,
Yes, clerk, just so you know, it just shows waiting on our screens. Refresh?
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 8A, new business, Prescott Valley Audit and Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Ms. Pale, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Every year we bring before you the completed financial statements for the town of Prescott Valley, and this is for the year ended June 30, 2022. And it takes a while to get the audit completed as well as gather all the documentation together to finalize this. And tonight we have Michael Lazon, associate from Heinfeld Meach & Company, who does our audit. They're our external auditing firm that we contract with to review and make sure that everything is taken care of the way it should be in accordance with all of our state and federal laws. And with that, he's going to present the results of our audit this year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the mayor, vice mayor, and the council for having me here tonight. Also want to say a special thank you to Katie Pale and Irina Ermakova, who are the primary finance people, and all their finance staff for all their hard work on the audit. So we are contracted as the independent auditors to perform multiple engagements, including the financial statement audit, 7 CFD financial statement audits, the MAS, the court review as well, 2 agreed upon procedures, one for Glassford Hill, one for the entertainment center, the single audit, which is your federal funds, the highway user fund, and the expenditure limitation report. So we are out here for a couple weeks and very busy the entire time, so we appreciate everyone's hard work on this. So the good news is, I'm here to tell you that on the financial statement audit, you received what's called an unmodified opinion, which means we reviewed the financial statements and we have determined that they are free from material misstatement due to non-compliance or fraud. And so it's not a statement of perfection. We have recommendations every year that we make, and the town is able to work on those and implement them. But the unmodified opinion, like I said, is the highest opinion we can give. So it's great news on that front. The second audit we are required to give an opinion on is your single audit. So because the town receives and expends more than $750,000 in federal awards, and in fact, in this last few years with some of the COVID funding, it's been much greater than that, we're required to assess your federal funds and perform test work over a sample of transactions. So in this last year, for fiscal 22, we looked at the CDBG funds and the coronavirus relief funds as well. And the good news there is you received, again, an unmodified opinion on compliance with federal laws. And over that have to do with how you spend the money and how you can allocate the money. So we do appreciate that. And again, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I know, sir, you basically show up with your team and you guys basically make your war room up there on the 4th floor, it seems like. And
yes,
I go by in the morning and just, you guys are obviously focused on what's going on, and you've been doing this for, I don't know how many years have you been?
I've been the primary partner on this engagement, I think, for 7 years.
Gotcha. So I appreciate all your hard work and appreciate what you guys do. So,
yeah.
Vice Mayor?
I just always like to make sure that the community knows that even though unmodified opinion sounds negative, it really is a positive thing because it's the highest opinion that can be awarded, which means everything's really good. So just for clarity, and thank you for all you do for us. It's a great report. And thank you, Katie.
Council, anything else? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept and adopt the ACFR as presented by Heinfeld Meach & Company, PC, by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Oh. I don't know, Clerk, who you got for the second on that, but the Michael?
Yeah,
Okay.
a second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Vice Mayor Hunt? Perfect. That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8B, Development Impact Fee Audit. Ms. Pale, welcome again.
Hi. So this is the public hearing for the impact fee audit. Every 2 years, there's a review, a more extensive review of impact fee funds, how they're spent, and this is the corresponding requirement by the Arizona Revised Statutes. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor, unless anyone has any questions before the public hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, this is a public hearing, which we are opening up right now. If there is anyone in the public that would like to come down and speak on just this topic, here is your opportunity. With that being said, I'm going to close the public hearing. Council, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Pale? And this just happens to be a coincidence. We're having this evening with item 8C coming up next, correct?
Correct. Yes, they are not related as far as their individual items go, but they're just both regarding impact fees. So,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 8C, development impact fee report. This is also a public hearing, which I might as well just open it up right now. And Mr. Judy is here to speak.
Mayor and Council, I believe this is the fourth time I've been before you on this topic, so I know you are a glutton for punishment. That's the process we're required to go through because of state statutes. So this is a slide you've seen before. These are projects that have been funded completely by impact fee funds, including the expansion of the police department, construction of the Long Look and Glasser Hill intersection, and Bob Edwards Park. So the draft report from the consultant shows that impact fee funds could go up to $6,133 for a single family, and for multifamily that would be $4,119. This is what's known as the maximum supportable fee that you could adopt. Council can go lower than this, but this is as much as the council can adopt per the recommendation of the consultant. Looking at how we compare to other cities, this puts us roughly in the middle. I tried to look at cities of similar population and gross scenarios. You can see the red is where we currently are, the yellow is where we would be with if you adopt the maximum fee. The non-residential fees, these are going up considerably more, could go up considerably more. It's important to understand it. It's difficult to compare these rates to what happened in 2014, which is the last time that we adopted impact fees. The report is completely different. Housing assumptions are different. We have subdivisions that are built out or near built out, like Wellwood Meadows, Pronghorn Ranch, Granville. So there's fewer housing options available. There's more commercial and industrial space available. So if you think about it that way, it could explain partly why these fees could go up as much as they are, or could go, excuse me. These are comparisons for how we would relate to other cities of our size. The industrial would put us, a couple of spots below some of those other cities, similar with the office and services, and the retail would put us roughly in the middle. The next step in this process, February 23rd, we would be back before you to actually adopt these rates, and then they are not effective for 75 days, so we would look at a May 15th effective date for these fees. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Vice Mayor, you have something?
Can you go back to the slide, the residential slide? That one. So I just want our residents to know that development pays their share. And this slide is evidence that that happens. And that, the comments that we get that, Prescott Valley is growing out of control and it wants to be the biggest community in Northern California just are not true. Because we grow less than 2% a year. And we'll continue with our approved general plan growing less than 2% a year, most likely. So, and in that general plan, we lowered our maximum build out from over 120,000 to less than 80,000 in that general plan that just got approved by our residents. And this too is a resource, I think, help me, Mr. Mayor, that brings quality development that's willing to pay their fair share to develop in Prescott Valley.
I believe you're spot on, Vice Mayor. It's, we all know that we don't have a property tax here in Prescott Valley, And in order to improve, our parks and our roads and fund our police, we rely on some of these funds. So it's important for us to stay, competitive with the market and how things are. Mr. Judy, you mentioned the last time we did this was almost 10 years ago. So it's something that needs to be reviewed. I find it interesting. I see Prescott breaks theirs down by square footage. Do other communities do that, or have you seen that, or is it?
Typically, what's done is they have a price for single family and then one for multifamily.
Gotcha.
Most of the cities that you see up there, that's how they do it. But yeah, Prescott does separate it out by square footage.
Based off the size of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And the other comment I would like to make is that I'm not happy that our commercial rate is as high as it is, but I do believe that these fees and the development of commercial in our town that chooses to be here will help improve our quality of life, along with the fees that they pay on these projects that will happen will also help improve our quality of life and make more businesses want to be here to support our residents. So thank you for this work for your work on this. I mean, it's good news and bad news. I hope it doesn't impact our economic development, but in order to lower those, we would have to take a project out, and I don't want to do that.
And Mayor, Vice Mayor as well, we're required to go through this process at least every 5 years. We can go through it sooner than that if we see it's having a negative impact on our economy. So that's certainly an option we could consider. I would note as well that these are just what I would call the general government impact fees. That's for police, streets, parks, and library. We also charge capacity fees at the time of permit for water and wastewater and water resources, in addition to the permit fee. I would note as well that the library fee that we're currently charging on residential will go away once the debt service on this building has been paid off and the general fund has been made whole for any loans that it's made to the impact fee fund. So we're looking at probably another 6-7 years before that debt service is paid off and that fee will completely go away. Per our current statutes, we wouldn't be able to issue bonds or use impact fee funds for a facility of this size. But because it was already built and we had issued debt service when they changed the impact fee statutes, it was grandfathered in and we can continue to collect those fees until those bonds are paid off.
So one more thing, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Ryan. I recently heard that a developer for a single-family home paid $25,000 in fees to our town. So again, those people that are out there that are saying we're grow, our developers are paying their fair share. And this right here will add another $1,000 to that $25,000 for a single family home.
Council, anything else from Mr. Judy? And as I mentioned earlier, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone out there that would like to comment on this item? All right, with that being said, I will close the public hearing. Next up, item 8D, FDP 22-018, Jasper Phase 5. Mr. Ruby, welcome,
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, the item before you is a final development plan, final plat, if you will, for Jasper 5. It is for 176-unit single-family development, which pays impact fees. Located on 51 acres. It's actually north of Santa Fe Loop. Initially, a traffic study was done for the entire Jasper development, and it indicated the need for eventually a second entrance from State Route 69 Stone Ridge to the Jasper development. The development agreement required construction of the initial phase of what is now called Jasper Parkway prior to the issuance of certificates of occupancy for Jasper 3. Since then, the developer has, due to recent market changes, the developer is asked to move away from finalizing Jasper 3 and finalizing Jasper 5 instead. Therefore, as a result of that, the construction of the initial phase of Jasper Parkway will now be required. I'd be glad to go into detail or answer any more questions if you have them.
Vice Mayor, you want to start us off on this, or? Okay. So This will, obviously, as before, it was for the developer to build Jasper, it was just something if they wanted to do it up to this point. But now we're going to be requiring it based off of the switch between phase 3 and phase 5.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're
It's
clear
just
on
flipping 3 and 5 because of market conditions.
Sure. And then will there be any other considerations that the developer will have to worry about when it comes to phase 3?
No, they should be taken care of with the application of the Jasper Parkway construction via the development agreement.
So the completion of Jasper Parkway will be done first prior to the first certificate of occupancy for phase
Jasper
5, correct?
Correct.
So they will not be able to sell a single home until Jasper Parkway is open and available.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I have a quick
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
So the first circle that you come to off of Santa Fe, and the very first circle, is this south of that circle then?
Yes, ma'am. There's you should have in your packet the layout for future Jasper Parkway, and it runs from 69 to that roundabout there at Santa Fe Loop.
Okay.
And this will be south of that too, 60.
And then Unit 3, is that north? It's like way north toward 89A almost, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
On Unit 3, where's Unit 3 located in relation to that?
Unit 3 is actually to the west of phase or Jasper 2.
Okay, I think, okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Anything else for Mr. Ruby? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2022-2289, adopting final development plan FDP 22-018 by electronic vote.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. Next up, item 8E, an IGA with CAFMA traffic signal preemption. Mr. Chamberlain, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Okay. For the last few months, the town and CAFMA have been working together to draft the intergovernmental agreement for the use and maintenance of the traffic signal preemption devices. The preemption devices are actually a GPS-based system that provides vehicle-to-intersection communication. This system enables a request for a green light at signalized intersection. These devices would be installed at every signalized intersection within the town limits of Prescott Valley, including the lights of Highway 89A and Highway 69. The vehicle devices would be installed in the town police patrol vehicles, CAFMA fire engines, and EMS vehicles. I've asked Chief Ticer if he could come up and speak a little further on these preemption devices. He knows a great deal about them and kind of tell you basically how they work and how it's going to benefit our community and citizens driving around. So,
welcome back, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, if
Yes,
I
sir.
could just add something, and I failed to tell Mr. Chamberlain this. In the agreement, this is again between CAFMA and the town. CAFMA and the town will control who has access to the preemption system. So if any medical first responders, they'll have to go through a process. We certainly want to make sure that our partners responding to medical emergencies have access, but they will have to go through a process. So it's not automatic as part of this agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Mr. Chamberlain, appreciate your work on this. You can see the picture right there on the screen of intersection. Intersections are a very dangerous area for us to navigate, public and law enforcement or other first responders. Our fine fire department or fire district came to us and said, let's partner on this with the police department to bring the police department into having access to be able to control those lights during emergency responses. And so that's where we're at right now in partnership with CAFMA. So what happens is a police officer is responding to a critical incident, a call for service, emergency call. They're going to run with their red and blues on and their sirens. They don't have the ability to change the light to green. So if it's a red light currently, they're going to have to stop, make sure traffic's cleared, All other traffic each way will have to take note of what that officer's doing, and then they can clear the intersection. And as we all know, not every driver is paying attention out there, and that can be a lot of chaos and a lot of danger at a traffic light when folks are trying to figure out, are they supposed to go or are they supposed to stop? This would allow our police officers who are responding to incidents to be able to change the light to green when they're running code 3, red and blue lights, and siren to emergency calls, just like the fire department has always done. We would put this in our police cars, the black and white cars, where the uniform officers responded to calls. Also, our traffic officers would have these, but based on cost, we wouldn't put it in every sworn officer. For example, I would not put that in my car. We would not have that in our detectives' cars because they're not going to be the primary response team that's going to those calls. So it would do one other thing, or two other things actually. One of our goals in this town is to reduce our calls, emergency call times, and we believe this would make those calls quicker, get officers to the scenes quicker, and they're going to be the first ones there. Firefighters are responding from a fire station. It's typically going to be a police officer as the first responder on scene, so we want to get them there as quickly and safely as possible. And that's going to be really important. So it's going to be safe for officers, it's going to be a quicker response, and seconds count when people are calling 911. Seconds count, so this would get us there quicker. That's a little bit of an overview, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Hepperly.
Is it something that they have to physically, like a button that they push, or is it like, is there a sensor just when they're running code, it just trips them, or how does that work?
We're looking at, yes, we're looking at, Mr. Mayor, Council Member Hepperly, we're looking at two options for the police officers. One would be a manual press where they could push a button or a sensor to change that light, or we're also looking at an option that's available out there right now that the light would change automatically once red and blues and sirens are activated. So we really have to look at that, and that's been presented to me over the last week, so I've been really digesting and thinking about that information, what is going to be the safest, best way to do it. So it sounds like we've got a couple options there.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for the chief?
I just wanted to make a quick comment as well. I think a lot of us as citizens probably assumed we already had that in place. And so to find out that we did not, I appreciate that this is coming about now. It's always good to have modern technology work for us instead of against us. So saving time when you're responding to saving lives is greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
I agree with what Councilman Schumacher just said. I'm surprised that we don't already have this, and it is a safety mechanism. So thank you for your work on this, and thank you, CAFMA Chief, too, out there. Rose, for being here.
All right, with that being said,
I have a comment. I understand that Chino Valley, Prescott, and Dewey Humboldt have this already in place, and that we're kind of bringing up the tail end.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Dickinson, this has been a pretty normalized system in firefighting for a long time. Bringing law enforcement into it now is fairly new. That's not in most communities that I'm aware of. So we're going to lead from the front here. We bring policing into this. Again, they are the ones who are going to be the first ones on scene. So I think it's very innovative to be thinking about that. And some of those other agencies that you talked about, Prescott in particular, the technology that they've had has been there a long time, and it's been old. It's been those strobe, those old systems. This is now moving into the newer technology. So CAFMA is doing a really good job on their research on that. So I do believe that they're bringing some state-of-the-art smarts to this.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Oh, looks like Mr. Legler has something to add.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the intent is for this to apply to every traffic signal inside the town. This particular agreement only deals with the right-of-way that is controlled by the town. There will be a separate IGA between CAFMA and ADOT for the items on Highway 69 and 89A.
Thank you, sir, for the clarification. There's no other questions. I entertain a motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor. I'm sorry. It's not coming up. Yeah. Okay. For in his absence, the vice mayor.
I believe that Cutter had another comment.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Okay. I'm going to start over. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2023-2295, adopting the intergovernmental agreement between CAFMA and the town for installation, maintenance, and the use of traffic signal preemptive devices in row maintained by the town by electronic vote.
Have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I second it.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone, for sticking around.